What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to you guys with a quick video today. We're going to talk about Elfrid Payton and Orlando Magic. They have gotten themselves in a sticky situation. I cover the Magic as much as I can, and this is going to be a question for them going into the future with guys like Aaron Gordon and guys like Elfrid Payton, guys that they have drafted. They drafted a whole lot of talent. Tobias got there. They drafted Victor Oladipo. They have Vucevic from the Dwight Howard trade. They drafted Jonathan Isaac. They end up getting Mario Hazonia, and he doesn't, this Orlando team, they drafted a lot of young players, but at the end of the day, you have to pay these players. At the end of the day, you have to see if you can develop and how good these players can get. Obviously, Victor Oladipo has finally broke out and had a good year under the coach in the tutelage of Nate McMillan, allow him to run and gun, because that's basically what he do. He gets the ball up the court, gets wide open threes, goes through screens, get looks at the 3-point basket in the mid range, and he can always get to the paint when he pushes it, because they play a quick tempo, and that really benefits Victor Oladipo. And you're seeing the same thing with Tobias Harris having a career year in Detroit. While they gave up on him and he showed a lot of potential, they traded him to Detroit and he's having a career year over there. So, this team has drafted and got back a lot of talent, and they just couldn't figure out who they wanted to keep until now. Now that they've been trading everybody because they feel like they wasn't good enough and they still wasn't making the playoffs, and they couldn't pay all of them anyway. They got themselves into another situation where they have to see if they want to play Aaron Gordon, and they got to see if they want to pay Elfrid Payton to be their franchise point guard for the future. The problem with that is Aaron Gordon is a guy that's having a career year himself, and he's still showing a lot of potential. Plus, he's still very young. And with that being said, do you want to pay? How much money do you want to pay these guys? Elfrid Payton is only 24 because he turns 24 in February 22nd. And with that being said, you're going to have to reach a extension with this guy, or you really don't have a franchise point guard that you can really rely on, like Elfrid Payton, who's usually always healthy. He's a pass-first point guard, which a lot of teams like, especially young teams, because he doesn't mind taking shots and he doesn't focus on being a ball hog, which is different because most young players want to score the basketball. They want to build up their name. They want to build up their brand. They want to score, and that's the most exciting things for the fans. Fans love seeing other players score and shoot threes and dunk. And if you really look at this roster, they really only have Shelvin Mack and DJ Augustine on this team that's really traditional. That's point guard. I ain't gonna say traditional, but if they lose Elfrid Payton, who they couldn't really reach an extension with, then they don't really have a point guard. Plus, he's the modern day point guard because he's 6'3", 6'4". You have a tall, long, lanky point guard that's semi-athletic. Well, he is an athlete, and he has been improving a lot when it comes to scoring, because when he came in the league, he was shooting below 40%. And as his season continued to go forward, he was able to get it all the way up to 42%. But he only averaged 8.9 points. Coming into the next season, which was his sophomore season, he shot better from the field, better from three, better from the free throw, but he only averaged 10 points and 6 assists with 1 steal. Going into his third year, he improved again, shooting 47 from the field, but his three-point shots went down, but he only take 1 a game, so you can't really judge that. We know he's not known as being a shooter, but I'm not going to judge him for having a low three-point percentage or a high one because he don't take enough to warrant, the care about the three-point percentage. But he did give you a career high in rebounds, 4.7 and 6.5 assists, and still giving you a steal, and he averaged a career high 12 points. The problem with Elfrid Payton is he hasn't shown the ability to be a franchise point guard. He shows that he can be a solid point guard. He shows that he can be a decent point guard. But do you really think Elfrid Payton is a starter? Do you think he can really be your franchise point guard? Do you think you really can win a championship with a player like Elfrid Payton on your roster as your starting point guard? He is a guy that plays defense. He plays hard. He's more of a basketball IQ guy. He takes shots he know he can make. He's patient. He doesn't force too much. He doesn't overthink like he did his rookie season. season. He just out there having fun playing basketball. Obviously, he's averaging 2.7 turnovers this year. That's a career high, but I still like this guy. But like I said, do I really want him to be my starting point guard of the future? And he's turning 24. Plus, we have to pay this man a lot of money. But like I said, this is a team that's in a situation where they don't really have any other point guard, especially that's the age of Elfrid Payton, that can actually play and start to a certain extent. So it's hard to just say, "Hey, yeah, let's get rid of him like they did Victor and like they did Tobias, because they did get talent back in return in those trades. But at the same time, they haven't been able to really keep anybody because I guess they feel like the players that they drafted and traded for wasn't, worth giving the money to, because they did pay Tobias Harris, but they ended up trading him to Detroit. But that means they didn't really want him, and they feel like he wasn't a good fit for the future. Now that they have to pay Aaron Gordon and Elfrid Payton, do you really feel like this team is struggling to win 30 games a season? Do I really want to pay Elfrid Payton that money? Do I really want to pay Aaron Gordon that money, knowing that we struggling to make the playoffs with them? Even with Aaron Gordon having a career year, they're still struggling to win basketball games. He's shooting a three ball. He looks better. He looks significantly better than he used to look these last couple years. But he still hasn't really equaled, his dominance to win. Same with Elfrid Payton. His numbers are the same. He improved a little bit. He's still learning the game, and the game is coming to him, and he's a smart basketball player, but it hasn't totaled into wins. It hasn't equaled into wins. And this team is literally struggling to win basketball games. And I like Frank Vogel. I think Frank Vogel is one of the better coaches in the league. I feel like he doesn't really get his due because of, getting fired from Indiana when they wanted to move in a different direction. People say he's more of an old school old school coach, which I actually agree. He likes to play big. He likes to play at a pace. He likes to play defense first. They don't really have, I should say, the personnel to play a defensive team. Aaron Gordon has the athleticism, not really known as a defender. I feel like Vucevic has improved defensively. He's not a rim protector. They end up getting Biyombo, but they overpaid for him, which is going to hurt giving Aaron Gordon and Elfrid Payton extensions because they gave too much money to Biyombo. And honestly, Biyombo can't really do nothing but block. And other than that, he's not a great player and he's not a great team defender, but he is a great shot blocker, but he's not really, as a team concept, he's not a guy that you can anchor your defense around. That's something that they thought that they can do, playing Vucevic at the 4 because he can shoot the 3, shoot the mid-range, and playing Biyombo at the 5 to clean up with the help rotations and the blocks, but that didn't really work either. So this team is in a situation where, they have talent like Jonathan Simmons and stuff, that they have the talent. They have players, Aaron Aflalo too, that can play. They have veterans. They have guards. They have certain type of players that know how to play defense. Like I said, Jonathan Simmons and Aaron Aflalo that can score and play defense, basically two-way players. But they had a situation where they're the worst team in the East, and they have more talent than, they have, to me, more talent than the Atlanta Hawks, and they're both tied for, the worst record in the whole Eastern Conference. And that's something that I was surprised about because I'm a big fan of Frank Vogel as a coach. Actually, they're just tied for the worst record in general because the Kings are 13-31. The Magic are tied for the worst record in the whole entire NBA, and I think they have more, talent than the Hawks, and they're still not able to win games. They had got off to a hot start, and they have cooled all the way down. They had caught a lot of people off guard. They was able to shoot the ball real well, but that fell off quickly as the season continued to go and teams has made adjustments. Teams have studied them and teams have prepared for them. And after that, this team has fell off the cliff. They can't close games. They can't stay in games. They get blew out. They paid Fournier. They paid Vucevic. They paid Bismack Biyombo. They paid Jonathan Simmons. But now can they keep Elfrid Payton and Aaron Gordon, or they're going to trade them and try to get more picks or another player? That's the question of the video. Should they trade Elfrid Payton? Should they match an offer for Elfrid Payton? Should they keep Aaron Gordon, a guy that they drafted in the top 5? Or do you think he's not a superstar? He's not a guy that you should build around. He's not a guy that's going to be a franchise player for them. A guy, like I said, having a career year, but they're still the worst team in the NBA, tied for it. And, he only can get better. That's true. And he's still young. But at the same time, it's not winning games. And you have to pay all these players. And if you pay these players, you'll be stuck in a situation where you're mediocre, you're not good enough, and you still paying a lot of people money, and you still not winning games as a result. Which means, what's the point of paying the players when you're not winning? That's what they went through with Victor. That's what they went through with Tobias. They had to get rid of him because they still wasn't winning games. And you can't just pay a bunch of young players if they still can't, as a collective, win games and close out games. So they had to let these people go. They're having better years at other places, and they having career years. But they wasn't doing it when they was in Orlando, and they had to make a decision to pay these players and keep them, or continue to try to build through the draft. Something that they're doing now, but it still hasn't really equaled into wins either. So Orlando, they're in a messed up situation, and let me know what you guys think. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link up in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link up in the description and in the comment section below. Click the link and send you my website. Click the link and send you my Facebook page. Like my Facebook page to show support. And also, if you're on Twitter, my YouTube will be pinned on my Twitter, and my website will be in the description. And if you're on Facebook, my website will be in the description of my Facebook page, and my YouTube account will be pinned on there too. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone, and let me know what the Orlando Magic should do with Elfrid Payton and Aaron Gordon as their young building blocks. Should they pay them? Should they trade them? Should they give up on them? Or should they just rebuild again, because these players have improved, but they haven't led to wins?